there, welcome to Tarot Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Aquarius energy. And the top row is going to be maybe what you feel like doing in your life when you have a little more hope and faith and belief in yourself. So the top row is for people who are trying to harness some high vibe Aquarius energy or are harnessing it. They're having hope and faith and belief in their dreams. There's certain ways of life that they not interested in living that life anyway more, the way they used to think or feel about themselves or certain types of relationships or jobs. They've seen life differently. They have hope and faith and belief in their dreams. And some people could have always had that, and they keep being challenged by the world because the bottom line is like the shadow energy. And that can be a shadow energy within ourselves. Or if we're loving, hopeful, believing nature, we could always have shadowy people in our life. Let me tell you what we got here. In the top row, we have the Death card, the Two of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the Four of Swords because of the Nine of Wands. So the Death card talks about something ending, and because something could have ended, something in the Nine of Wands that you could have been defending, you had to pick up your investment in whatever that was, if that was a friendship, a romantic relationship, a workplace, whatever it was. You had to pick up your investment from that situation because you do believe in yourself. You do love yourself. You're not going to abandon your dreams in life just because of an ending. And it could have been with the Death card. The Death card could just represent shadowy things in your life, shadowy people, people who are unkind, people who are unloving, people who are bossy or controlling, emotionally shallow, intimidating, controlling, act like a private detective in a relationship, or just negative energy in the world. For some of you, it might specifically have had to move away from someone who harnesses shadowy Scorpio energy. Maybe you had someone in your life who made you feel like you needed to be defensive, because shadowy people in our life want us to be in our fear, our insecurity, not trusting other people, not believing in ourselves, because then they can't manipulate us, control us, indulge in a relationship with us, build their, some people build their sense of ego by trying to control and manipulate other people. It makes them feel powerful. That would be people who don't love and believe in themselves and treat other people with love. Because if we're going to treat other people with love and we know we don't like to be manipulated and controlled, we're not going to try to manipulate and control other people. So you could have known some people who in the Nine of Wands maybe haven't learned to have good boundaries within themselves. You could have been dealing with someone who harnesses shadowy Sagittarius energy, where they just lack good discipline within themselves. They indulge in their more fearful, insecure, immature, indulgent, intimidating, controlling, emotionally shallow ways of being. And instead of loving and believing them in themselves, to move forward in the energy of love, they don't move forward in the energy of love. So you realized that, we come into contact with all these different people in the world to try to get us help us get clear about what our truth is. Is this my truth? Am I going to keep defending these people? Am I going to keep being in relationship with these people? Am I going to keep being defensive and emotionally shallow and moving forward in my life that way? Am I going to have some hope and faith and belief in myself? And when we're ready, and we all learn lessons at different times in life, that's when we learn the lesson and we're ready. The kind of the high vibe aspect of the Scorpio Death card is that we're willing to emotionally detach from the past, old ways of being, old ways of thinking about ourselves, old ways of living our life, picking up our investment in how we used to live our life and maybe the jobs and people or some people in our life. We've emotionally detached, because Scorpio is water sign energy, emotional water sign energy. And when we work through all of it, and it could have taken a lot of work, really taking inspired action in your life to work through why you could have had some fears, some insecurities, some self-limiting beliefs that you had to overcome. And you kept taking that creative, inspired action to have that new beginning. And when we don't give up and we don't let our own shadow nature and other people who are in shadowy energy stop us and make us give up on our dreams or try to make us give up on our dreams, we have that brand new beginning. We're ready to take that inspired action in our life to move forward. The Two of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. It's about people who have freed themselves from a layer of their fear, their insecurity, their pride, their ego, their self-limiting beliefs. And they've learned a lesson from that life experience. And that's how we move forward in life. When things happen in our life, it's to see the truth about what was that life experience trying to teach me. Do I love myself? Do I believe in myself? Am I willing to stand up for myself? Am I willing to put aside my pride and ego and realize I have lessons to learn in life? I might have been indulging people in a relationship who were defensive, who were emotionally shallow, who were superficial. And that was what we were supposed to learn the lesson of. Is this what I think I deserve in life, or do I deserve better than that? And if I've been living my life that way, is this really how I want to live my life? Being emotionally shallow, being defensive? Or am I willing to pick up my investment in that old way of being, to go with the flow and free myself and take the lesson I've learned, incorporate it into my foundation, love myself and believe in myself and believe in my dreams and heal. So I don't have to be defensive anymore. And if there was people in your life who made you feel defensive, maybe, the Nine of Wands can be feeling like a wounded warrior because of an ending. Something painful that could have ended. Are we going to be in that life-giving energy to keep moving forward, believing in our dreams? To give ourselves, in the Four of Swords is Libra energy. Are we going to move forward loving and believing in ourselves to get the justice we deserve? Or are we going to give up on our dreams? And it requires us to meditate on the truth. Because we move forward in truth and love, and it's living in illusion and fantasy land and not wanting to see the truth that stops us from moving forward. Some of you might have someone who tries to stop you from moving forward in your life. For some of you, it could particularly be a Libra, because they're defensive maybe. They could be defensive because you ended a relationship with them and you're moving forward, loving and believing in yourself. And they don't have to be a Libra. They could just be someone who lives more from their mind than their heart, who maybe likes to indulge in a relationship with you. This could be someone making you a new offer. This could be someone new making you an offer. And the thing is, we all have our dualistic nature. We have like our shadowy, worldly, egoic, me, I want to be codependent, I don't want to grow up, impulsive, immature nature. We always have that. We can't really get rid of it, but we can offset our shadowy nature with truth and love, so that our shadowy nature has to sit in the back seat while our loving, hopeful, believing nature drives our vehicle in life, drives our life. And as you're moving forward, you're going to have different people probably want to come into your life that you're just going to meet as you move forward. As for one, High Vibe Aquarius is moving forward, offering love to people who have been hurt. When you just go out in your world and you're loving and you're kind and you're respectful and you're patient and you're willing to listen to people, and get to know them, sometimes that's all people need, because they felt wounded, because maybe they didn't have very nice people in their life either, that they've dealt with, that have made them defensive. And if they could just have some people come into their life who aren't trying to stop them from moving forward, loving and believing in themselves. Oh, are you someone who's encouraging and supportive and nurturing? Wow, what a relief, finally don't have to be so defensive and have my guards up. So just as you're doing that, as you're moving forward, you're going to have shadowy people and high vibe people that you're going to come into contact with. Some of those people think it's just and fair in their Libra energy. And again, they don't have to be a Libra. Some of them are defensive and guarded and wounded. They see you moving forward. You're loving, you're nurturing, you're supportive, and they'd like to be in a relationship or friendship with you. Well, you're going to have to listen to your intuition, you know? I mean, we can work together with people and be kind and supportive and encouraging. Doesn't mean we have to jump in a relationship with them, you know? Or, you know, we get to know people. We start small, maybe with the Two of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles. The maximum is like the Ten of Pentacles. That's like a long-term relationship. We get to know people. You know, it's willing to move forward with people, to get to know them, to find out, are you someone I should have my boundaries up to? Because you harness shadowy Libra energy, which would be, I'm not balanced. I don't have good boundaries within myself. Oh, by the way, I may be kind of prideful and egotistical or immature or have illusions about what it means to be in a relationship, you know? Because everybody can have their idea of what it means to be in a relationship, right? Some people think they can be intimidating and controlling. Some people harness shadowy Two of Pentacles Capricorn energy, where they think, isn't getting in relationships, the Three of Pentacles can talk about working together with people. Isn't the idea to get in relationships, to work together, to build things in the world, to have stability and security? And that could be their driving factor in their life. And yours is love, but theirs could be money. You know, shadowy Capricorn energy is represented by the devil. People who are have a very skewed idea of what it means to be in a relationship. It could be all about them indulging in the relationship. It's all about their wants, their needs, their lusts, their greed, their pride, their ego. Let's get in a relationship. It would make me look victorious and successful. Let's get in a relationship because I've been wounded and I need a place to rest. Can you be my place to rest? But I have no plans to take inspired action in my life. Some people get to the Nine of Wands, which shadowy Nine of Wands is being kind of a player. I have no intention to detach from old ways of being. I juggle people. I don't really invest in people and having a deep emotional relationship, but I'll work together with you. I love love. You know, let's get in a relationship and it'll seem like it's love. But they, in heart, shadowy Libra energy, they live more from their mind than their heart. And they're defensive and guarded to love. And it's more about being mentally strategic in a relationship. Is it good for my ego and my image and my status? Will you indulge me in my ego or in my lust or my greed or me being intimidating or controlling and not really investing in you? And those could have been the very kind of people you've left before. And you're like, no, I'm not doing that again. I wish you peace, but I'm looking to the future. I hope you heal. But it takes work and effort and loving your own foundation. And some people don't think they have to love their own foundation. That's like your job or other people's jobs. They never meditate on the truth and they always stay defensive and emotionally shallow in relationships. They get in, it's kind of like more transactional relationships. I'll give you these things that I have, and then you give me the things that you have, and we'll call it square, you know, or even. But they never move forward in life, and they're defensive to looking at life as an adventure to be lived. They're maybe not able to emotionally detach from things in their past because they've never reflected on the truth. We either are willing to see the truth about how we need to grow and mature ourselves. We also need to see the truth about why are we defensive to love, who was in our life that made us defensive to love. Some people don't want to see the truth about why they're defensive to love because some of those people who made them defensive to love were people in their own family. Maybe being emotionally shallow, maybe being much more materialistically focused, creating the illusion that they were healed people in the world, being loving and just and fair, but really they were kind of defensive to being truthful and honest and authentic and warm and loving and giving in the world. And it's more like presenting an illusion. So if any of you have learned some lessons from being in relationships with people like that, um, if some of those people come towards you, you might wish them peace and speak your truth that, I can't be in relationships with people that I've got to be defensive towards. And especially if this is someone you've already been in a relationship with and you already learned that you had to have good boundaries with them. It's like, these are my boundaries behind me against you. I'm moving forward, having a new beginning. So you could have had some people in your life who were emotionally shallow, maybe intimidating and controlling, think life is all about death, sex, and taxes, and not really investing in people emotionally, just working together with people so it looks like you're living the dream. And then you're emotionally cold and detached and defensive and guarded in a relationship. And if you've been in relationships with people like that, you're going to listen to your intuition to guide you to have good boundaries against people like that and keep looking to the future. As you move forward, you're also going to have people who are balanced within themselves. They harness high vibe Libra energy. And again, they don't have to be a Libra sun sign. But they're people who do have good boundaries within themselves. They don't act out of their more shadowy nature. They're not in a relationship just for themselves, for their pride and ego, or to look like they're victorious and successful, to look like they're, create the illusion that they're moving forward in life. They really do move forward in life. Why? Because they've healed from the past and now they're free. The things of the past are no longer dictating their decisions and making them defensive. They have taken that bold, brave, creative action in their life to have hope and faith and belief in their dreams, to have healed, and they will want to move forward with you in a healed relationship because they see that you've got good boundaries within yourself and you don't indulge in being selfish and greedy and prideful and egotistical and manipulative and cold and detached and all those good things. Now, they're in the shadow energy. Some of you could be tempted because, we all got that dualistic nature. You could be tempted. There could be someone with the devil card here that you previously did have illusions about with the moon card. And they could have been someone, the Empress is Libra Taurus energy over here. They could have been someone who presents themselves, whether they're male or female. They could present themselves in the world as being like a very loving person, but that's the illusion. They really, when you see the truth, they're really someone who, again, is much more maybe emotionally shallow and calculating. They want to have this illusion of who they are in the world, and you could have had a lot of love and affection for them because in high vibe, that's what the Empress talks about. Maybe you'd went through an ending and you were, kind of feeling a little defeated and didn't know, because this is also the reason why the reading came out. You could have been a little defensive and guarded and wounded and maybe didn't quite believe in loving and believing in yourself, and you had lessons to learn to how to love yourself and believe in yourself. So you could have gotten in a relationship with someone who presented themselves as loving, but again, with the Magician card, it's more of an illusion. They don't really invest in people, but they like to work together with people. And if it's a romantic relationship, it's kind of, in the Devil card, it's kind of good for their ego. It makes them, they can indulge sexually maybe in a relationship, But again, it's more, either they live in fantasy land and they never really go with the flow and actually move forward and heal from their past issues to keep moving forward and bring the dream into reality. It's kind of like, no, I like to stay here. let's stay here. Let's work together and I'll indulge. You work your magic. You be loving. You be bold and brave and creative. And let's not listen to our intuition and heal ourselves and, go with the flow. Some people just don't like to change. The devil can be about things staying stagnant, things staying the same. It's also Capricorn energy of the world. The devil kind of represents the world in tarot, and it could be about let's get in a relationship. And the person you could have gotten in a relationship also could have a lot of money and materialism because the Empress card can talk about abundance, and the devil in the world and Capricorn energy kind of talks about a lot of abundance. Some people can be very loving and they're very abundant that way. Other people can have a lot of money or materialism or status or image or jobs or something. But the loving people believed they could manifest a dream into reality. But because they maybe had lessons to learn in their life to love and believe in themselves and heal from some things, they could have gotten in a relationship with the devil card with someone who came into their life because basically you're not ready for your dream to come into reality yet. There's some lessons you need to learn from this relationship, and part of it is to listen to your intuition to guide you and to go with the flow, not give up on your dreams, to put in the work and effort to love and heal yourself. And if you hadn't learned that lesson and hadn't quite healed or weren't putting in the work to heal from situations in your past, our shadow nature can kind of be our codependent nature. I'm looking outside of myself to make myself feel better. Can I get in a relationship with you? Can you help? And getting in relationships with people, it's nice to work together with people, and we get kind of in relationships generally with people who are kind of creating the illusion that they're kind of in the same place as we are in life, maybe emotionally and psychologically and all those things. And then we can find out that they're not at all. And, they could be very defensive, guarded, selfish, prideful, egotistical people. Or they are the same, kind of on the same, where we're at in life, and we have some of the same wounds. But it is, if people don't work together to move forward, listening to their intuition and go with the flow and learn to have good boundaries within the relationship, it can become a little toxic, unhealthy, and codependent. And if we haven't learned how to invest in loving ourselves, we'll have people in the world who is kind of like, oh, what? Wait. You haven't put in the work and effort to love and believe in yourself? Okay, let's date. I'll basically, as long as you don't know how to love and believe in yourself, I'll be in a relationship with you. I like being in a relationship with people like that, says the devil. You're my kind of guy or gal. But if you ever do start to listen to your intuition and you do start to put in work and effort to love and believe in yourself and heal from your past pain and heartbreak, and you start to have better boundaries within yourself, you're more balanced. Because in order to be in a relationship with someone who's a little tipped out of balance, you have to be either as equally out of balance as they are in your kind of similar nature, or you have to be oppositely out of balance where you're kind of indulging them being in that shadow energy. And if you ever start to heal and grow and mature yourself and shed some of your layers, your fears, your insecurities, and you're ready to step forward in your life in a different way, some of these people, they never planned to do that within themselves. And if you did start to listen to your intuition and were willing to move forward, then they could have turned their back to you. And part of doing that is to emotionally confuse you, to break your heart, to make you defensive of believing in yourself. So you will come back in the Knight of Cups and offer to work together with them and keep staying in a relationship in this kind of nothing new to learn here, where we're going to do the exact same things we've always been doing. And some people, the younger you are, you could repeat those patterns many times and go back into a same relationship or a similar relationship over and over. until you've done it enough times where it's like, I'm not doing that anymore. I want to be in a relationship with people who are not consumed with being the center of attention in a relationship, because that also can be shadowy empress. I want to be the privileged, favored person in this relationship. It's me being indulged. I'll even create an illusion for some of the people. They could have even created an illusion in a relationship that they were attracted to someone that they weren't. If that person hadn't learned how to love and believe in themselves, if that person had money, or if that person was just loving, I'm willing to indulge in a relationship with you because it's good in my shadowy Capricorn energy. It makes me look, I'm creating the illusion that I'm moving forward in life. And then you might have really gotten in a relationship with some narcissists. And narcissistic Aquarius energy is people who are very self centered. It's all about them. It is all mental strategic. It is about being emotionally cold and detached, presenting a facade that you're loving, trying to make the world think that you're like them and that you're moving forward and that you're healing and growing and maturing yourself. But a narcissist never does grow and mature themselves. It's just taking traits and characteristics from people to keep it making them look, but it's all a facade. It's like, oh, it's kind of like if everybody in the world who'd learn new lessons, say we're in some type of movie where it's like, oh, everybody got an eye patch, you'd learn this lesson. It's like them putting on the eye patch. Oh, everybody who learned a certain lesson is wearing a hat. Let me put on a hat. Oh, that everybody graduates to wearing a certain pair of shoes in the world. That's how they take traits and characteristics from people to like put onto their mask and their persona, and they still go forward in the world being emotionally detached, living more from their mind than their heart, being very, very fearful and afraid of anybody seeing their authentic nature, because then their authentic loving nature or more free nature never comes out to play because it could get hurt. So it's kind of like they keep their inner child nature locked up in a closet in their house. So if you sometimes hear tarot readings about abusing children, not to diminish people abusing children, that's atrocious, but when people abuse their own inner children, it can be when they abuse other people in the world because they're not being very loving to themselves. And somehow a narcissist could have become so emotionally detached from themselves, maybe decided as a way of protecting themselves that it's all about them. They're very selfish, greedy, turning their back on listening to their intuition. They're not going to grow and mature. They're not going to do love. They can get hurt that way. They're going to make their life all about creating an illusion that they're balanced. They're going to create an illusion trying to maybe use their charm or their sexuality or their looks or their money to try to get people to work together with them in a relationship. But it's just to create the illusion that they're like a loving person who's moving forward in the world, that they've healed, that they're, all these things, but it's all just an illusion. And if they get in relationships with people who really did have hope and faith and belief, who, while they were in that relationship, were doing work within themselves to free themselves from some of their own self-learning beliefs, when the loving people in their life tried to get them to encourage them and share, kind of what they were learning about themselves, because the swords can talk about communication. That could have been when that person, kind of the gig was up. People saw through the illusion, because when shadowy people are in a relationship with people and they really don't want to be open and honest and vulnerable and authentic, that's when they'll start, when the people in their life are loving themselves, that's when they'll start to become intimidating and controlling. And if the people keep believing in themselves and moving forward, they'll become more toxic, more controlling, more abusive. And when the people keep listening to their intuition and loving themselves and moving forward anyway, that's when, like, they know they've been defeated. And that's when, instead of healing and trying to grow themselves from this whole life situation, they get the idea, I know, I'm going to go try to find someone else who's maybe experienced an ending to something that had been loving. And if they haven't learned to love and believe in themselves, I'm going to go see if I can manipulate them into working with me. And again, I'm going to try to keep creating this illusion. They never go within to heal from their past pain and heartbreak. Let's ask why. Why do some people who are kind of caught up in their fear, their insecurity, their pride, their ego, or on the far extreme, narcissistic, why don't they ever go within to gain insight and understanding about their past pain and heartbreak? They could feel overwhelmed about the truth, so they like to be in denial and stay in two minds about things. Let's ask, what is it that they don't want to see the truth about? Part of it could be if they were to view life differently, and if they did. Some people maybe just don't even believe in the concept of love. Maybe they think that's an illusion in fantasy land. They could think everybody's being mentally strategic in the world. Everybody's kind of maneuvering for a position to make them look, an Aquarius energy, like they're victorious and successful and a shining star in the world. What don't they want to see the truth about? 2 of Cups, 6 of Cups. And the reason is because of the 7 of Pentacles. Well, they might not want to see the truth that some people do invest in love and work together with people from a foundation of love. They could be people who operate more from the 7 of Pentacles is Taurus energy, and it does have to do with our overarching philosophy of life, how we view the world, how we view life, what are our guiding principles in life. And they could think life is all about, and again, Aquarius energy is air sign energy. Maybe they get way too caught up in their head, and it is to mentally strategize in life. And they think people invest in relationships to get people to work together with them. And they could think that's how everybody else does it too. But the problem is, not everybody does. And maybe what they need to do is go find someone else who kind of looks, shadowy, kind of Taurus energy would be being in relationship and getting in relationship because you're driven more by the status and the image and the money and how it looks, basically. And they should go get in a relationship with someone who's kind of like that. Some of you could have somebody end a relationship with you because there was someone who did have like the money and the materialism in the world. And they could have decided they wanted to try to use their magic on someone who had money and materialism or the status and the image. And they could have thought that they were going to be able to move forward in this new relationship and create this illusion that they have about relationships and how they want to be viewed in the world with that person. For some of them, they might be moving forward with that person or a new person trying to create this illusion. For others, the person, some of them were tempted away by someone, and why did they get tempted away from loving people in their life? We get tempted every day, right? I mean, we can go out in the world and have people who try to appeal to our lust, our greed, our pride, our ego, our fear, our more immature, indulgent nature. And if the divine knew that you were ready to give birth to something new, it's an injustice for you to be in a relationship with someone like that. The 4 of Swords in Libra energy talks about getting the justice you deserved, being in relationships and moving forward with people who you feel like you have to be defensive towards. That's an injustice. So what you could have thought was a bad thing in your life was maybe actually a blessing in disguise. There could have been someone who harnessed some shadowy Capricorn energy that tried to tempt them to leave the loving relationship to come get in a relationship with them. And why would they be tempted by that? Because they also align with their more shadowy Capricorn energy. Instead of putting in work and effort in their own foundation to learn lessons in life, to love themselves, to heal, to listen to their intuition, they're more aligned with their more worldly view of life, or emotionally defensive, or prideful and egotistical. I don't have any lessons to learn. I don't have to grow and mature myself. Or I'm very materialistic, or I want to be pampered and indulged in a relationship. Because if you move forward in truth and love, it has to be a balanced relationship. It has to be just and fair, where people treat other people the way they like to be treated. And some people like to be a little bit more indulged in a relationship. But someone who knew that they could probably tempt them, they might have been intuitive that this person doesn't, kind of goes back and forth, that they present themselves as loving to the world, like I'm a loving family person, I'm just, I'm fair, I'm the pillar of society. But someone could have been intuitive. I think you're not really who you present yourself to be. I think you're kind of more worldly focused and ego focused. I think I can manipulate you into coming down here and getting in a relationship with me. And some of them, that worked. And then when that person had put an end to aligning with their, it's kind of like the devil can represent like our shadow, our fear, insecurity. I don't think you should love and believe in yourself. I think you should end aligning with your hopeful, believing nature. I think you should be in your fear and your insecurity. And it's kind of like the devil saying, it'll be great. You don't have to put work and effort into healing. You don't have to grow and mature yourself. You don't have to love yourself. You don't have to learn to have good boundaries. You don't have to stand up for yourself. Come on down here. I'll give you the world. And then you don't do that, and you kind of indulge in your more, I'm going to look outside myself for my answers. I'm going to look to the money. I'm going to look to the booze. I'm going to look to the drugs. I'm going to look to other people to make me feel better instead of me doing the work within myself. The devil lies. It's just an illusion. Giving in to our more shadowy nature is going to drive our life off into the ditch. The devil and our shadow nature just tries to create illusion that we can move forward living our life that way. We don't have to learn to take creative, bold action in our life, to look at life as an adventure to be lived, to love ourselves, believe in ourselves. Give up on your dreams. Just settle for indulging in the world. It'll all be okay. And some people were tempted because the divine knew they weren't ready to move forward with you. They still had lessons to learn. And they came down here and got in a relationship with someone like that. And then that person had just created an illusion. And then they moved on. And some of the people who have had the loving people in their life move on, now they could be heartbroken that they didn't move forward with those people. And that's the whole kind of thing of life, right? Is to realize that there's consequences to our actions. If we don't choose to love and believe in ourselves and heal, and we choose to be defensive, we're probably going to be tempted by some people who promise us the world. You don't have to do the work. It'll all be better. Just get in a relationship with me, or drink me, or do whatever, But it's just not seeing the truth, not listening to our intuition, because our intuition has our best interest at heart. Our intuition wants us to love ourselves. And instead we can look for other people. No, I don't want to have to learn to love myself. Can't just someone else love me? And that'll work. And we have free will. It's just that we'll kind of we won't have healed to release the past to move forward in our life. We won't have learned to put in work, to emotionally detach from the past and put in work and effort to move forward in the energy of love. We might make decisions more out of fear, insecurity, self-limiting beliefs, codependency. For some of the people that you could have ended relationships with, they know you listen to your intuition, that you've healed, and that you're going with the flow. And they know in the devil card they can't manipulate you and control you and intimidate you, or whatever tactics they use that weren't very loving and open and just and fair and truthful and honest. They know they can't manipulate you. So right now some of those people got their eye on someone else who They think they can manipulate. But again, either the same thing's going to happen. Those people might have some work to do within themselves, and this person comes into their life as a catalyst for them to learn, I deserve better than this. It's kind of like my own fearful, insecure nature was manifest in this person being this way in my life for me to realize, is this how I'm going to live my life? This was like my fears and my insecurities and whatever. Now it was manifest in this person. Am I going to settle for this? It might have money, it might have materialism, it might have the things of the world, but is it emotionally shallow? Is it an illusion? It's not love. Do I deserve love? And that forces us to love ourselves. For some of those people, they might get manipulated by someone who's just like them. And then they'll move forward, both of them being willing to live their life in this illusion. And then they're kind of maybe stuck because they're both people who do all this work in the world to try to present themselves as like the perfect person and the pillar of society. And so then it's like, shit, how do I backstab them? How do I make them look like they're the bad guy? How do I get out of this relationship? My goodness, they act like peaches and cream every damn time we go out. How would I explain that I didn't move forward with them in a relationship, you know? Kind of like they got someone who can play the game as good as they can. And some of them might end up having to move forward in a very unhealthy relationship where both people are emotionally shallow and cold and detached and maybe intimidating and controlling and obsessive and possessive because I want this dream to look like it came into reality, and the other person's like, I know, I want the dream to look like it came into reality for me too. And they're both, if they've got the money and the looks or the image or the whatever that they want, they might have to keep investing in that illusion and keep moving forward with it because neither one of them is willing to speak the truth. You know, what a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. You know, in order to move forward in our life, we have to face our own fears and insecurities. And some of the loving people are like, can't I just be loving? That would be like, I'm a very loving person. Can't I just indulge someone? I don't want to have to put in the work and effort to face my own fears and insecurities. I don't want to venture into unknown territory. I don't want to have to move forward and maybe, I'm guarded and defensive of making an offer to someone else. You can, it just won't. If you've already learned the lesson and you're refusing to take the lessons that you've learned and apply them to your life, I just think you're just going to repeat the pattern where it's going to be another unhealthy relationship where people indulge in you being a loving, giving, supportive, encouraging person. But with the moon card, it is not going to turn out like you think it will. When you are not willing to, it could get really unhealthy. Tell us what the devil and the moon card could represent for some people. The whole thing is, if people consciously and purposely decide, no, I know I should do this, I know I should, but I'm not because, I don't know, whatever, I guess like Two of Swords, you might feel stuck. You'll invest in something new and being in a relationship with someone else who doesn't want to see the truth. And the thing is, why would we waste our time investing in people we know that aren't truthful and honest and just and fair and, I think the lessons get worse and worse. It's kind of like we either move forward in truth and love or in our ego. We kind of are addicted to something that's unhealthy for us or not loving and believing in ourselves as we should. That isn't healthy for us, and it's like an addiction, and an addiction gets worse. And there too, you get stuck in another cycle going around in that same next relationship or that next job and not listening to your intuition and freeing yourself from it. It just gets worse. It doesn't get better. So I guess that's what I would say. And if some of you aren't tempted by that, you are listening to your intuition. It's just that you will be moving forward, maybe having a new beginning with someone else who also in the Two of Pentacles is like you, and together you'll work together on this new beginning in love and healing, and everybody learns to have good boundaries, because you would have other people in your life who are probably loving and encouraging and supportive, and there's just people in the world. Not everybody's shadowy or indulges shadowy people or indulges their own shadowy nature. I think most people have that spark of life within them to want to shed layers of their fear or their insecurity or their old ways of being to give birth to new things. Some people turn their back on giving birth to new things in the Empress card. Emotionally, they want to keep living life the way they've done it, which is aligned with the past, unwilling to take that, to do things any differently. Taurus is fixed energy. Some people could have a lot of fixed astrological chart, zodiac signs in their chart. They just never take that creative inspired action. It's kind of like, no, this is the way I was told to do it in life. This is my philosophy of life. I've got to keep doing it just like this, like this. It's like doing the exact same thing over and over and hoping for a different outcome, which is the definition of insanity. But in order to quit repeating a same old pattern, especially if it's unhealthy, we need to take that bold, brave, confident action. And the Nine of Wands is Sagittarius energy, which is about higher learning and education. To be willing to maybe, what if I did do things differently? What if I just dealt with some of my fears and insecurities? What if I picked the small ones and tried to feel accomplished within myself that, oh, if I, where we invest our time and energy and effort is what grows. If we keep investing time, energy, and effort into our fears and insecurities, our fears and insecurities manipulate us and they keep us focused on the past in shadowy energy instead of listening to our intuition and going with the flow and having some hope and faith and belief that the divine wants everything to evolve and grow and mature itself, you know? And if we put some work and effort into working on some of our small things that we keep buried beneath the surface, maybe those are ones that we could release, and that would no longer be baggage we carry with us. So there you go, Aquarius energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.